Would you relocate to a country where having multiple wives is completely legal? Some places don't just permit it, they embrace it as part of their social and legal framework. This ranking breaks down where it's allowed, how the rules work, and whether people actually choose this lifestyle. From financial requirements to religious customs, you'll see what it really takes to live this way. Stick around, and by the end, you'll know more about this topic than most people ever will. Number 10. Let's start with Qatar, a country where men can marry multiple wives but strict rules apply. Did you know that fewer men are choosing this lifestyle despite it being legally allowed? Under Islamic law, a man can have up to 4 wives, but only if he can treat them all equally in terms of emotional and financial support. To ensure fairness, courts require proof of financial stability before approving additional marriages. Interestingly, the number of men taking a second wife has dropped from 6.6% to 4%, showing a decline in the practice. Many believe modern values, higher living costs, and changing social expectations contribute to this shift. While still legal under Sharia law, the tradition is much less common than in other countries. Will this trend continue, or could it make a comeback in the future? Number 9. Moving on to Malaysia, where the process of marrying multiple wives is tightly regulated. Did you know that even though it's legally allowed, most applications don't get approved? A Muslim man must first seek permission from a Sharia court, proving he can provide financially and treat all wives fairly. The court also takes the opinions of existing wives into account before making a decision. Historically, this practice was seen as a way to support widows and orphans, offering them security and financial stability. But in modern times, it faces criticism for conflicting with evolving views on gender equality and marital consent. Many courts reject applications due to financial instability, making the practice far less common than media portrayals suggest. With shifting social expectations, will this tradition continue to decline, or will legal changes keep it alive? Number 8. Now let's talk about the United Arab Emirates, where marrying multiple wives is legally permitted but comes with strict conditions. Have you ever wondered how financial stability plays a role in this? Under Islamic law, men can have up to 4 wives, but they must treat each wife equally. To ensure fairness, a husband must prove he can provide separate housing, financial support, and an equal share of time for each spouse. While this practice is rooted in regional traditions, modern influences and international perspectives on gender equality have sparked ongoing debates. Some see it as a cultural norm, while others believe it challenges fairness in marriage. The UAE's legal system offers protections to ensure all wives and children receive their due rights. With changing social norms, will the UAE continue regulating this strictly, or could reforms reshape its future? Number 7. Now let's turn to Indonesia, where marrying multiple wives is legally possible but highly regulated. Did you know that strict conditions must be met before a man can take another wife? Under the 1974 marriage law, a Muslim man must seek court approval and obtain his first wife's consent. Additional marriages are only permitted if the first wife is unable to have children or suffers from a long-term illness. Although legal, this practice is far less common today. Women's rights groups and modern societal norms increasingly challenge it, arguing that it can lead to family instability and inequality. The government has tightened rules, especially for civil servants, to prevent abuse and high divorce rates. With these growing traditions, could Indonesia eventually phase out this tradition altogether, or will it continue under stricter laws? Number 6. What about Zambia? Marriage customs in Zambia reflect deep cultural traditions, and in many communities, having multiple wives is a recognized and respected practice. But does this mean it's common everywhere? Not exactly. While customary law allows men to take more than one wife, statutory law leans toward monogamy. This means the legal landscape varies depending on whether a couple follows customary or civil marriage traditions. In rural areas, the practice is more widespread, with some regions reporting higher numbers than others. Surveys estimate that about 16% of marriages fall under this category. However, modern discussions around gender equality have sparked debates on its impact on women's rights and family dynamics. As Zambia continues evolving, could legal reforms or changing values gradually reshape marriage traditions, or will these customs remain deeply rooted in society? Number 5. Would you ever share your marriage with someone else? In Saudi Arabia, it has been a long-standing practice for men to marry multiple wives, a tradition rooted in Islamic teachings. Sharia law permits up to 4 wives, but only if each is treated with fairness, financially, emotionally, and socially. While legally and culturally accepted, this practice is becoming less common. Rising living costs, evolving gender roles, and shifting societal values have led many families to prefer monogamy. Today, courts require men to prove financial stability before approving an additional wife, ensuring no spouse is neglected. Critics argue that this practice challenges gender equality, while others see it as a practical choice for expanding families. As Saudi Arabia continues modernizing, could this tradition eventually fade into history? Number 4. What if marriage was seen as a status symbol? In the Gambia, having multiple wives has long been associated with prosperity and social standing. For many, it signifies a man's ability to provide and sustain a large family, making it a cultural marker of success. This practice is legally recognized under both Islamic and civil law, aligning with the country's religious and traditional foundations. Families and communities often encourage men to take multiple wives, believing it strengthens economic security and family influence. Historically, even European explorers noted its prevalence in Gambian society. However, perspectives are shifting. Economic conditions and modern influences are causing more men to reconsider this lifestyle. While still deeply rooted in tradition, will this long-standing practice continue to thrive, or will societal evolution gradually change marriage customs in Gambia? Number 3. Moving to Burkina Faso, having multiple wives is not just accepted, it's deeply woven into the country's social structure. The practice is especially common among the Mossi, Fulani, and Bobo ethnic groups, where it serves both cultural and economic purposes. But is it more about tradition or practicality? For many, it's seen as a way to showcase prosperity, as a man's ability to provide for multiple households boosts his social standing. Beyond status, this practice also plays a significant role in agriculture, with larger families contributing more labor to rural economies. Additionally, it strengthens alliances between clans, reinforcing community bonds. However, modern discussions about gender equality have led some to question its fairness. While these conversations continue, Burkina Faso remains one of the countries where this long-standing tradition is still widely practiced. Number 2. Shifting focus to Mali. Marrying multiple wives is not just legal, it's deeply embedded in the country's cultural identity. Mali is part of what experts call the polygamy belt of West and Central Africa, where this practice is widely accepted. But just how common is it? A 2019 study revealed that Mali has one of the highest rates in the world, with a large percentage of its population living in such family structures. While it is most prevalent among Muslims, followers of folk religions and some Christians also practice it. Legally, there are no restrictions, and societal norms reinforce its role in strengthening family bonds and improving economic stability. However, ongoing debates about gender equality and women's rights challenge its place in modern Mali. Despite these discussions, the tradition remains a significant part of the nation's social fabric. Number 1. At the top of the list is Nigeria, where marrying multiple wives is more than just a legal option. It's a deeply rooted cultural tradition. But how does this work across the country's diverse legal systems? While statutory law favors monogamy, customary and Islamic laws, particularly in the northern states, allow men to have up to 4 wives under Sharia law, provided they treat them all fairly. For many, this practice is a marker of wealth and status, reinforcing family ties and expanding lineages. However, challenges such as economic strain and rivalry among wives are common. Despite modern debates on gender equality, Nigeria's legal and social landscape continues to uphold this tradition. Whether it remains as widespread in the future will likely depend on evolving societal values and legal reforms. Understanding marriage traditions around the world shows how deeply culture and history shape relationships. But what happens when those traditions shift in unexpected ways? Some places don't just welcome foreign men, they celebrate them in ways that surprise even the most seasoned travelers. In certain parts of Asia, social dynamics, beauty standards, and local dating norms create a completely different experience for outsiders. What makes this region stand out? And why do so many men say they've never been treated better? Stay tuned because that's exactly what we're exploring next.